Breaking news, XDC drops Bombshell announcement. Let's get right into this and why it matters to you. First thing is from XDC Network. And in defining, this was brand new, to say the least. We see here, specifically speaking, what is really eye-opening. For one, the modernization of global trade finance is accelerating, and the shift is far more structural than speculative. As institutions move toward tokenized credit instruments, invoices, and trade documents, the need for compliant, high-performance blockchain infrastructure becomes clear. This is where XDC Network continues to play a meaningful role. And do they mention specifically ISO 222? They do. Mentions XDC Network's hybrid design, ISO 222 plus M-letter alignment, native USDC settlement, and sub-second finality support the end-to-end digitalization of financial instruments from issuance to cross-border settlement. Gets better. A 2.5 trillion trade finance gap won't be solved by speed alone. It requires programmable, verifiable, regulation-ready systems built for global commerce. I want to state this. Basically, it's like this. You're going to see some more key things in this outline if you choose to stick to the end. I have a lot of awesome info that I've gotten into, taking it to the next level for you guys with the detailed research and the key findings once again. But again, a lot of people are going to miss this. And what a day to basically display what XDC is doing. Some people feel as though that you want to shift your assets into other ISO assets and you don't want to be an XDC anymore. Again, I can't give you any financial advice, but for me, I would at least listen to this and then draw my own conclusions. To get further into this, you will see some of the key things. For one, it's like what it mentions here. A 2.5 trillion trade finance gap won't be solved by speed alone. This evolution and XDC's role in it are captured in Forbes. Now, I did go through this article. I do think it's big, and of course, full details about this. So I'm going to take you right to there. And more importantly, as I do so, you're going to see some key things that are really, really eye-opening. For one, they cite some of this, and then, of course, what you see here, bridging Wall Street and Web3. Now, as I take you over to Forbes, yesterday, I should say day before yesterday, bridging Wall Street and Web3. I have some new announcements, of course, even today, literally just hours ago, and you'll see how this all ties in. But bridging Wall Street and Web3, the 2.5 trillion trade finance gap. Now, it says here, easy to miss a structured shift when it happens in silence. Again, a lot of times when XDC does some things, they do it in silence. I remember when they were building in the bear market, they did it in silence. A lot of people criticize them, but again, those who truly build in silence. No crash and no end of the old guard. Proclamations, just to show methodical migration of the world's largest financial institutions. For example, BlackRock, Fidelity, and State Street onto blockchains. The headlines haven't caught up, but the infrastructure is already changing. And again, that's one key thing I want you guys to understand when we get further into this is it's all about the infrastructure, and it may not be representative, currently speaking, in the market. But again, I consider some of these things a blessing in disguise when it comes to the last phase of accumulation. Look what it mentions here. What's taking shape beneath the surface is industrial-grade tokenization, real-world assets like trade documents, loans, and payment instruments rewritten as programmable, interoperable data. Now, you see the terms of interoperability, for one, I think a quant immediately, but this outline is really, really, truly focused on specifically XDC. So they get into this whole thing, and it's good to do so. But what's important is Forbes highlighting specifically XDC Network. New infrastructure stepping in, not to bypass existing systems, but to rebuild them from within. Again, not necessarily trying to bypass anything. Again, the new infrastructure, the new shift. Co-founded in 2017 by Ritesh Kakad and Atul Kakade. XDC Network delivers programmable, compliant infrastructure that integrates with existing legal, financial, and trade systems to address structural gaps in global commerce. All right, so they highlight these two gentlemen. And I think that's important to get into it. But again, I like the idea that they point out the platform of XDC. And like it says, XDC function not only as a payment layer or document system, but as a foundational structure. Okay. All right. Now watch this. I take you a little bit more into this. For one, Quincy Jones, shout out to him, local guy, right? He points out this in his reposting from XDC USA. He points out on the 17th, what happened that maybe some don't realize. Citing week of visibility for the XDC network. Our co-founder, Atul Kakade, and again, if I pronounce that wrong, it is what it is. I apologize. Was busy sharing the XDC vision on major financial platforms. He was interviewed by FinTech TV, checkmark. Interviewed by Bloomberg, checkmark. Visited the New York Stock Exchange. In fact, apparently Quincy was there too. I don't have that picture, but he did share that on his X. Again, the future tokenization trade treasury being built, I should say, on the XDC network. You see the pictures. I'll get more into why this guy's a big deal. And what's important is to see that why would you be invited down to this? Well, again, the tokenization of all this, and more importantly, in the stock market, right? That's always worth pointing out. Now, as I take it to this other key area, you're going to see this as well, because what we're going to point out is another reposting. Now, this time from André Casterman. Casterman pointed out from Token Terminal the top 3 fastest growing stablecoins based on 30-day growth in market cap. And number 2 is USDC on XDC Network. Circle continues to scale across multiple ecosystems. Casterman posted this just a few days ago on the 19th. Now watch this. So you zoom in, you do clear as day see XDC Network right here, right? And as you also see, we go to the far right, market cap changed in 30 days, 91%. All right, so that's worth noting, right? Do we end there? No, we do not. We get further into this, you will see this other key finding that I also think is very, very important. For one, if you were to go over to zenfin.org, XDC payments, well, let's face it, everybody, so many people were pointing out like ISO 222, today's the big day for full implementation, right? The mandate. In reality, all these things won't happen until the very end of the day, but I'm still a bit more on the whole idea of what happens into the new work week. And we know that work week is basically a holiday week, Thanksgiving, Black Friday, and then the weekend and so on. But keep in mind, it's that bridge to traditional markets. So with that said, would we see anything of significance? Could this be the biggest buy the rumor, sell the BS moment in crypto history? Could very well be. But again, I think this is like a ticking time bomb as far as what would stand out as far as the ones that are compliant. Now, in the documentation from XDC, you will see some things that maybe you've never seen. And that's why I want to point this out. So as you zoom in on this, you see specifically from zenfin.org, fast, secure, cost efficient, built for the global economy. Now, again, XDC Payments, like it says, is a next generation payment platform built on the XDC network, offering seamless, low cost, real time payment ecosystem for businesses, financial institutions, and merchants worldwide with institutional grade security, smart contract automation, ISO 222 compliance. We enable business to send, receive, and settle transactions globally with minimal friction. Okay, so we established that. Now, what about the mention in regard to like things like Swift? Great question. It says, what we offer. Have you ever seen this? Why do businesses choose XDC payments? Far right side, it says, specifically, Swift network integration seamlessly integrates with the Swift network for global reach and compatibility. And even on the left side, it says cross-border and domestic settlements supports seamless cross-border payments and domestic settlements with instant finality. Okay, so again, Swift network integration, that is worth pointing out. And the other thing I want to jump into, again, people may have never seen this. ISO 222 messaging platform, game changer for global finance. And you see here, plan state interoperability with traditional finance, compatible with Swift, real-time gross settlements, and messaging networks. Again, Swift and the RTGS. Going a little bit more further than most, look what we have here from Smoke. Big up to Smoke. Give him a follow or SMQKEDQG. He totally deserves your follow. A lot of you guys are already following him. Smoke points out BlackRock and JPMorgan are accumulating ISO 222 compliant protocols. And we do see a big list here. But more importantly, you do see the XDC highlight along with XRP, XLM, HBAR, QNT, Algo, and so on. Again, gain traction with central banks with 82% of Swift transactions expected to integrate ISO 222 standards by 2026. Okay, so what does he have in the highlight? Well, what's important to point out is this comes from a publication called Pulp, pulpresearch.com. No, not Pulp Fiction. Maybe you guys feel as though this is Pulp Fiction, but anyway, whatever the case be, you do see specifically in the highlight the ones we just talked about, and of course, XDC is part of the mix, so are the other ones. And these assets, like it says, remain among our top picks given their support by enterprise, partners, and major institutions, as well as their real-world use cases in payments and tokenized finance. We are at the front of a major adoption wave. The likes of BlackRock, Fidelity, JPMorgan, many others. But again, keep in mind where it says we are at the front of a major adoption wave. These are the things to pay attention to, not the random Yahoo that comes to the comments that says price don't move much. And that's all the research the person has done. God bless them. Getting further into this, watch what you may not even realize. Take you over to Smoke once again because we see the investment case for XDC. Over to ISO 222, check mark. And the investment case for XDC, people are not aware of this. People claim they've done their research. They have not. And as we see here also, as we shrink this down just a tad bit, you see plain as day investment case for XDC, and it does say specifically revolutionizing trade finance. XDC redefined global trade finance by replacing slow paper-heavy systems with a scalable blockchain-based network as the first crypto member of the International Trade and Forfeiting Association, ITFA, and the Trade Finance Distribution Initiative, TFDI. It streamlines documentation, increases transparency, improves small and medium-sized enterprises, and so on. But here's the whopper. helping close a $5 trillion funding gap in industry where nearly half requests are rejected by traditional banks. All right, there's more about this. The middle area, you may feel as though that this is the main highlight. I would probably agree. Fast and scalable blockchain for institutions. Does it specifically mention, for example, SWIFT? It does. The XDC network, purpose-built for institutions, offering seamless integration with legacy financial systems like SWIFT and ISO 222. That is so major to highlight that as well. All right, is that it? Nope, it's not. Shout this time to Tokenizer, another great researcher. Give him a follow over at Tokenizer or Tokenizer, wherever you want to pronounce it. He says in this update, which was not that long ago, November 20th, I'm telling you, a lot of this is new. Safe to say, XDC is some elite, or an elite company, I should say. I couldn't agree more. They're an elite company after their recent addition to the AIMA. If you may be wondering what that is, it has nothing to do with AOL Instant Messenger, I promise you, aka AIM. Shout out to you guys who used to use AIM back in the day, like myself. Alternative Investment Management Association. In practice, this organization is perfect for the XDC system as a whole. And notice how perfect is literally in all caps. This is the global policy and standards body for the alternative investment industry. But what exactly are alternative investments? Commodities, real estate, private credit, private equity. Again, Larry Fink pointing this out, whether you're a fan of them or not, 2023, 2024. But these are just some examples. Alternative assets and investments make some of the biggest aspects of trade finance. I can agree more. For one, invoice receivables. How many times have we talked about Zebek and how important that is with ADP, paychecks, et cetera, et cetera. Trade receivables, purchase order financing, commodity backed loans, electronic bills of lading. Hence, if anything, the Electronic Trade Documents Bill that became the Documents Act, this actual law as signed by basically who? King Charles, right? Literally wrote it into a law, at least for the UK, and maritime law. It's so major moving forward. Short-term exporting of loans, and as we can see, they are all areas that we've already seen XDC Network progress in and bring in on-chain with their tokenization partners. That is also very, very major. So this is the area I want to point out for you guys for a brief moment. Sponsoring partners of AIMA. And as you see here, as it blows up on the other screen, look what it specifically mentions. You see the sponsoring partners, and boy, these are an impressive list of partners. Clifford Chance, KNL Gates, KPMG. You see, for example, PwC, State Street, and of course, some of these other ones that you may be more familiar with than I am. But those are the ones that really, really stood out to me. Again, sponsoring partners. Again, XDC Network, now a member of AIMA. That's major. That is elite company. I would agree with Tokenizer. Now, as I take you into this, back to the announcement from specifically Ritish Kakad. Watch this. We see here, global trade finance is undergoing one of its most important transitions in decades. Again, he shared this about a day ago. The shift, again, that term, the shift from paper-based workflows to programmable, tokenized financial instruments is no longer experimental. It's becoming the new operating standard. Again, operating standard. Why do you think I'm so bullish on things like Quant? Operating system that provides the standards. This transition is unlocking new efficiencies in areas that, historically speaking, struggle with fragmentation, delays, receivables, invoices, bills of lading, and cross-border credit flows. Hybrid blockchain infrastructure is merging as the backbone of this modernization. As we know, XDC was a fork from Ethereum, but if anything, it's a lot more faster, efficient, and if anything, less expensive. Networks like XDC built to align with ISO 222, don't ever forget that. Later as well, don't ever forget about that. And institutional compliance requirements enable the following tokenized trade documents. Again, we've been through all this. So with global supply chains demanding faster, more transparent financial rails, you can see how the infrastructure is purpose-built. And he did a recent in-depth analysis that explores all this. And if anything, sat down with Forbes. So that's important because we know that Forbes is a major publication, whether you're a fan of them or not. Again, more of that institutional money, more of the bigger money, focusing on things that maybe they are not, or I should say, never been exposed to in the past. Okay, so watch this. Let's take you into the next particular person of study, entering Atul Kakade, investing in artificial intelligence, AI, and blockchain with XDC Network. So again, when you see people like this, it's like XDC has a role with, obviously, the AI, right? We know Hedera is also very big in that. We know some of the other ones that we mentioned quite a bit are also big on that. But again, XDC and AI. Okay, well, this guy has some background. And if anything, I thought this was important. I pulled this up, and this is from FUMO, Future of Money podcast. Ever wonder why they always call it Future Money? Quant, Future of Money, Programmable Money, XDC, Future of Money podcast. Anyway, blockchain for real world assets, Atul Kakadi and Ritish Kakad from XDC. I have gone ahead and listened to this whole thing. I wasn't going to play 43 minutes of it for you guys, but I want you to hear this. This is just roughly a couple minutes, and we'll come right back. This is important. Listen to this. Listen to it well. Pause it. Come back. Hear this. Here we go.
how do you represent a real world asset? Like if you have an apartment in a building, that's like a title deed. Or if there was a shipment of coffee that you ordered, it could be represented by an invoice or or a purchase receipt. Once you start really getting these key documents or data recorded on a blockchain, you can have like this world of unlimited possibilities with it. To solve the problems that have not been solved before. Let me tell you, there's a $5 trillion gap in just trade finance alone. If you look at the overall real world asset economy, it could be probably $30 to $40 trillion. No one knows the numbers, how big these are. And blockchain as a technology really only stands out to solve problems of that scale. That's as simple as I could be in explaining.
No, absolutely. So what blockchain as a technology is doing is, at the start you talked about coffee beans, it's like a provenance. We are often, whether it's coffee beans or diamonds, we need to know where has it come from, right? Has it been sourced, particularly now many of us care about, has it been sourced ethically? We need to track the supply chain. And then there's also a payment angle, because it's a way of moving value instantaneously, atomically, 24/7. And we'll come back later in this conversation to actually building XDC. I think, Gaurav, you're going to get into questions about building XDC.
So again, these are great examples that maybe some just have never heard from this point of view. Taking further into this, I want to point this out from André Casterman. And again, this was a long time ago, but boy, oh boy, does it have weight right now. He has this. He says, retweet at Exporta Group. Basel III regulations might eliminate Asian trade finance, says Stan Chart. Okay, now this is really interesting. I understand that this is an old link, literally 13 years ago. And I was thinking, well, it's probably missing, right? I wouldn't say it's scrubbed, but let's face it, it's lost in translation. They didn't update their domain. You never know. This is from derivative-news.fincad.com. Derivatives-regulations/Basel III regulations might eliminate, like what he mentioned. Again, broken link. Why point that out? I want to point out it's a broken link. Well, watch this. Found it. Yes, found it on the way back time machine. It says here, Basel III regulations might eliminate Asian trade finance, says Stan Chart's Herald. I did shrink this down to highlight all this. So it says Asian plus banks that offer trade finance services may find it very challenging to successfully implement the Basel III capital requirements related to, it gets kind of lost in translation. I mean, if anything, this is another example. Think about this. If this gets lost in translation on this, think about why we need ISO 222 moving forward, or messages don't get truncated. And if anything, that looks like there's a little bit of truncation right there, right? Again, ISO 222, very rich messaging, right? Data rich. Again, we cover this numerous times. If you're new to this channel, maybe some of the stuff goes over your head. I would really encourage you to look more into that. But whatever the case be, let's blow this up now. We see here, specifically speaking, Basel III regulations might eliminate Asian trade finance. Asian banks that offer trade finance services may find it very challenging to successfully implement Basel III capital requirements related to leverage ratios, says Paul Herald of Standard Chartered, right? And we know that Standard Chartered said, yeah, guess what? ISO 222 won't be delayed this time. The market expert who serves at the head of the group of portfolio risk at the time of Standard Chartered in Singapore said that at that particular event way back, that the market for trade finance services is being threatened by these pending regulations. Trade finance provides market participants involved in exporting and importing with short-term funding through various means. New Basel III requirements obligate, look at what it says here, obligate lending institutions to put aside funds that have the value of off-balance sheet items. Okay, that's really big. Various market participants have spoken out about the costs that would be generated by adopting the capital requirements. Well, what about DLT? We'll get into that here in a bit. An example of this is custodian banks, who have asserted that implementing a Basel III would increase the cost of their operations. Well, things changed since then, right? Absolutely. Now, here's the real kicker. If you were to go over to winstant.tech/blog/access-program, you will find this interesting document. Boy, oh boy, is it interesting. W Instant Gold. Again, gold. How many times have we referenced when it comes to XDC, and we mentioned like copper or XRP gold? Should we throw XDC into the mix? Hear me out. This may be the most important part of this outline. As you see here, specifically speaking, it says here that Instant Gold, powered by fintech Win Instant Limited, inaugurates a new global standard with over 5 billion in real-world asset tokenization, and boom, on the XDC blockchain. This was from last August. I think people missed it. I think most missed it. Maybe some didn't. Some of you hardcore enthusiasts, maybe you're seeing it. But it does mention specifically XDC, and more importantly, what you're about to see here. So the National Access Program, the Democratic Republic of Congo at the time, launched a pioneering real-world asset tokenization initiative on XDC through W Instant Gold project, beginning with over 5 billion tokenized sovereign reserves. Groundbreaking effort introduces powerful dual token pair SGRT sovereign gold reserve token, and it's a gold-backed monetary utility recognized as a regulatory digital payment instrument by the Central Bank of Congo, and the FCRT, which is the foreign carbon reserve token. a foreign carbon-backed climate impact token. Again, I'm just citing some things here, and I'll see you guys go absolutely crazy if I cover any of this stuff. So I got to do that little disclaimer. Together, these instruments set a new global benchmark for blockchain innovation, combining secure haven in gold with a vital climate action to protect Congo. It says, unlike speculative crypto project, SGRT is a sovereign authorized monetary instrument backed by 4/1 by 200,000 kilograms of in-ground gold. All right, so that's physical gold owned by the Congolese state. These reserves are not theoretical. They originate from existing artisanal mining zones. Wow. Which will be formalized, enhanced to deliver fair mine ethical gold in line with environmental and human rights standard. Okay, so we kind of get this, right, when it comes to this SGRT. Or maybe we don't. Now watch this. How many times have I said, boil it, mash it, stick it in the stew? On the same document, bridging traditional and decentralized finance, with Basel III alignment, and like it shows here, doesn't mention XDC. And again, boil it, mash it, stick it in the stew. Maybe people get tired of me saying it. It is what it is. Deployed on what? The XDC network. SGRT enables a seamless bridge between traditional banking and decentralized finance. Its architecture allows banks to offer SGRT denominated deposits, taking advantage of gold's tier 1 capital status under what? Boom. Basel III regulations. This transforms SGRT into both a reserve-grade institutional asset and a tool to retail inclusion, offering a non-speculative and debt-free store of value. So XDC equals to a debt-free store of value? Now this gets into a whole other mix, does it not? A lot of people sleeping on their XDC. Watch this. We're almost done. CFTC.gov posted a while back, I think a few months ago, says specifically here, in September 23rd of 2025, to be exact, they pointed out that acting chairman FAM launches tokenized collateral stablecoins initiative. Some people share this, but like it says, Commodity Futures Trading Commission acting chairman Caroline D. Pham announced at the time that the CFTC will launch an initiative for the use of tokenized collateral, including stablecoins and derivatives markets. This initiative builds on the CFTC's successful crypto CEO forum held in February 2025 as part of the CFTC's crypto sprint to implement the recommendations in the President's Working Group on Digital Asset Markets report. Now, you may be wondering, why are you pointing that out, Maximus? Maybe you lost, get lost in some of this. Here's why I want to point out all this. Here's definitely why. Remember earlier? Yeah, André Casterman reposted this. And again, how long ago? The 19th. And again, what was it about? Again, how XDC ranks second when it comes to what you see on this chart, 91%, and more importantly, top 3 fastest growing stablecoins based on 30-day growth and market cap. USDC on XDC Network up a 91%. Do you not understand how big of a discovery this really, really is? And more importantly, taking you further into this, again, why point this out? Well, numerous reasons, but here's another one. And this is the icing on the cake. This is from this document from ISDA.org about CFTC tokenized collateral and stablecoin initiatives response. Yes, the response. I said this is a brand new update. Breaking, it really is. Again, a lot of people click off these videos, they miss it. Shout out to all you guys who are paying attention. ISDA, safe, efficient market, celebrating 40 years. And boom, November 21st, 2025, just a few hours ago, says Mr. Christopher J. Kirkpatrick, Secretary of Commodity Futures Trading Commission, request for input on use of tokenized collateral, including stablecoins in derivative markets. Dear Mr. Kirkpatrick, the International Swaps and Derivatives Association, ISDA, appreciates the opportunity to submit comments regarding the request for input on use of tokenized collateral, including stablecoins and derivatives markets. Again, derivatives markets. Published by the Commodities Futures Trading Commission. ISDA is at the forefront. They're not at the, far back in the reserves, right? They're in the front lines, at the forefront for new technological developments in the derivatives markets. As we know, the derivatives market, has the biggest potential of them all and has extensive experience with collateral management. We'd like to take this opportunity to discuss our work and provide recommendations where appropriate, focusing global market advisory committee, digital assets marketplace, and key elements of the President's Working Group report, strengthening American leadership in digital financial technology, PWG report. As a global trade association representing participants in derivatives markets, ISDA's mission is to foster safe, efficient derivatives markets that support economic growth. Wow. And again, they've been around since when? 1985. And like you see here, they cite some things from GMAC, recommendation to expand use of non-cash collateral. What do you think would be non-cash collateral here? XDC. And through what? The use of distributed ledger technology. This is a major, major discovery. It might be one of the most important ones for XDC of this year. And how do we solidify it? We solidify it with our brother Smoke once again. What a discovery. From ISDA, the industry is looking to replacing market infrastructures with distributed ledger technologies. This adds up. My research adds up with Smoke. Thank you, Smoke. ISDA is leading with digital assets and derivatives. These changes are coming and readiness is critical. And of course, he posted this a while back along with Mr. Man. Shout out to him as well. But watch this. As we zoom in from the source, we'll see here, specifically speaking, what is important. And the source comes from Eurex, building the capital markets technology of the future. And as you see, the industry is looking to distribute ledger technology, and some market infrastructures are on the verge of replacing production systems with these technologies. And look what it also mentions. With that in mind, target IT platforms will be required. And think about this, required. Today is the mandate. And again, back to what you saw here just a few hours ago, November 21st. Why would they come out with this today? Because, excuse me, not today, yesterday, right? Why would they come out with this literally yesterday? All right. You have to keep in mind, well, it's by the time you get the video, right? Today, tomorrow, depends on when you're at. But why would they come out with this? Because they know that if anything on the 22nd is ISO 222 mandate. That's so major. All right, a little bit more about this. Sorry, I'll get a little hyped on it myself. But keep in mind the requirement to manage digital assets, execute smart contracts, and connect the nodes in various distributed networks to share or receive data. As DLT and blockchain initiatives multiply across capital markets, ISDA is leading the way, establishing a common domain model for derivatives. Look what it also says here. Some expect the role of intermediaries between asset owners, asset managers, and capital issuers to drastically transform or even disappear. My goodness. What is certain is that changes are coming and readiness is critical. Exactly. Because the big change is the mandate. Always has been, always will be. So with that said, there you go. There you have it. It's just, I'm almost speechless because this all adds up. And it adds up from beginning to end about these initiatives. It adds up from beginning to end in regards to the documents that go back apparently years on end. I mean, heck, we even cited something from 2012 that André Casterman originally put out. So now it seems as though with the shift going on with this mandate, who would be at the forefront? Well, again, don't sleep on your XDC. I'm not sleeping on my XRPs or any of that. But wow, my, oh my, I think, if anything, XDC might have just pushed itself a little bit higher on old Max's top 5, which in reality it was always there anyway. But man, it might be rivaling some at this point because you clearly see in the documents that this might very well have first movers advantage. And that, and my friends, with all the bad news going on, that is major. So glad I give you guys this particular update. Hopefully you appreciate it. And do me a solid if you listen to the entire outline and simply type in this key comment into the comments. And that is basically AIMA, because we did share that earlier. And what was that? Did everybody remember what exactly that was? Well, basically, that was a big discovery because if anything, think about why that's important. Think about why we point out that. Well, again, here it is. Let's share it on the screen one more time. It's because XDC Network is now a member of AIMA and with Elite Company. So that's an outline. Glad to give it to you guys. And I know there's been a lot of bad news, but with that said, I think it's going to be a good day with this discovery. And you guys may know where I'm going with that. Stay tuned for some of that. You might enjoy it. We'll see you guys. Over and out.
Just waking up in the morning, gotta thank God. I don't know, but today seems kinda odd. No barking from the dog, no small. And mama cooked the breakfast with no hog. I got my grub on, but didn't pig out. Finally got a call from a girl I wanna dig out. Hooked it up for later as I hit the door. Thinking, will I live another 24? I gotta go cause I got me a drop top. And if I hit the switch, I can make the ass drop. Had to stop at a red light. Looking in my mirror, not a jacker in sight. And everything is alright. I got a beat from Kim and she can do it all night. Call up the homies and I'm asking y'all, which park are y'all playing basketball? Get me on the court and I'm trouble. Last week messed around and got a triple-double. Freaking brothers every way like MJ. I can't believe today was a good day. Drove to the pad and hit the showers. Didn't even get no static from the cowards. Cause just yesterday them fools tried to blast me. Saw the police and they rode right past me. No flexing, didn't even look in a brother's direction as I ran the intersection. Went to Short Dog's house, they was watching, yo. MTV Raps, what's the haps on shake 'em up, shake 'em up, shake 'em up, shake 'em, roll 'em in a circle of homies and watch me break 'em with the 7-11, 7-11, 7 even back door, little Joe. I picked up the cash flow, then we played bones, and I'm yelling domino. Plus, nobody I know got killed in South Central LA. Today was a good day. Left my homie's house paid. Picked up a girl, been trying to dig since the 12th grade. It's ironic. I had the brew, she had the chronic. The Lakers beat the Supersonics. Felt on a big fat fanny. Pulled out the jammy and killed the punani. And my Jimmy runs deep, so deep, so deep. Put her ass to sleep. Woke her up around 1. She didn't hesitate to call Ice Cube the Top Gun. Took her to the pad. Slow jam, just coasting. Vibes on point, felt the motion. Everything clicked like a perfect notion. Dropped the butt off and then chirped out. Today was like one of those fly dreams. Didn't see the lights or the sirens gleam. Sky stayed quiet, no chopper on the scene. No bird in the sky searching for the scene. Even saw the lights of the Goodyear blimp. And it read Ice Cube's a pimp. Lit as hell, but I'm holding up. Cruising through the night and my line still blowing up. Today I didn't even have to use my AK. I gotta say, it was a good day. Was a good day. Today was a good day. Left my homie's house paid. Picked up a girl, been trying to dig since the 12th grade.
Decent Wallet has a Black Friday sale. You can get up to 40% off, and this runs from November 20th to December 3rd. Take advantage of this. This is the most bang for your buck. This is the biggest sale of the year, and as you see here, the wallet that has it all, security and simplicity, the best deal. Decent biometric wallet. The 2X package is literally 40% off, and if you look at it, that's down from $318 all the way down to $189, which brings it at $94.5 each. That's a huge savings. If you choose to get one, that has gone down significantly from $159 to $109. But again, the 2X package is the best bang for your buck. You'll also get free shipping. Pick you up a decent wallet today. Secure your assets. If you don't have them stored in a wallet and sitting on exchange, then you're at risk. So pick you one up today. Thank you.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
I have many friends that are earning every single day trading futures on BTCC. It's a simple process, and even if you don't want to learn how to trade, you could follow a trader on the site and let him do the trading for you. And again, I'm not trying to have any of you guys use your hard-earned money to lose anything. You don't know what you're doing? Don't jump into this, but there is money to be made, and don't use your nest egg for leverage trading. Use a separate portfolio. But I suggest learn how to trade. Earn you some extra money on BTCC. It's easy. You don't have to KYC, and you don't have to use a virtual private network VPN. This is a wonderful site. They've been around since 2011. Give them a shot. Also, when you earn that extra money, you can store that on your Decent wallet.